So my first ever video I made on this channel was my new player experience in 2024 for Arknights, and I made that a few months ago because I started this game back in February. I believe it was February 16th. And this video, I wanted to maybe wait until next February to do like a year in review kind of thoughts video, but these thoughts have been fresh in my mind as of recently, and I just wanted to get them out, so that's why I'm making this video now. I think my original video was good, and I got a lot of the points I wanted to say across, and some of them still remain true now, but now that some more time has passed, I think my thoughts have changed. I have more that I can talk about, and just some things I want to clarify, you know? I feel like I didn't, it was my first video. I wasn't the best at sharing my thoughts, I guess, or saying fully what I wanted to say or whatnot. You know what I mean. And so I wanted to make this my final thoughts on Arknights. I wanted to fully encapsulate how I feel about this game after all this time that I've played it, and just kind of, lay it out there how I truly feel about the game fully, finally. I don't see most of these thoughts changing after a while, like anytime soon or in the future, because I've kind of solidified my thoughts. Even if I somehow in the future left the game, didn't want to play it anymore, I don't think my thoughts would change. They would have to completely destroy the game for that to happen. So I think we can just get into it. So here's my final thoughts on Arknights. So we'll start it like I started my last one with the gameplay. And I mean, what can I say? This game is a tower defense player's wet dream. Like, if you are a tower defense enjoyer and you're watching this and you haven't played this game, you are missing out. And I mean that in the best way possible. Like, this game is a free game that you technically do not have to spend any money on whatsoever. And you get so much variety of levels, mechanics, bosses, enemies, characters. Like, it's genuinely insane from a tower defense player perspective, the amount of stuff you get to do in this game. You have the main story, which there are currently 13 chapters of, many of which can go in the double digits of levels, and they all have an expert mode version, which makes them slightly harder. You have the events, which have been separated into intermezzi, which are the more story related ones, and then the actual, rest of the events, which have come around with their new mechanics, their new stages, like new ways to play, I guess, or enemies to deal with, to tackle, all also with their own expert stages. You have multiple in-game long-form modes, like integrated strategies and reclamation algorithm. Say what you will about them, people might have their own opinions on them, but you cannot deny that these add long-form content, reasons to come back, reasons to stay and play, that have almost endless replayability and actually have their own meta progression inside of them. Heck, integrated strategies has 3 different versions with IS2, IS3, IS4, and then we're going to be getting IS5 soon on global. Like, that's genuinely insane. And I haven't even still scratched the surface of them. I haven't even touched IS3 yet. Like, there's so much content left for me to do. It's insane. You have annihilation stages, which are 15 minutes to 20 minutes long stages that you need to survive and endure through with the ever increasing difficult waves of enemies that come, all that are separated through that are based on different mechanics or events from the game. And I kind of forgot about annihilation stages for a while, but I've been delving back into them now that my account's more fleshed out. I honestly think Arknights is one of the best gacha games in terms of PvE content. It has the most, it does it the best, where it's all gameplay focused. You build your operators and you can use them, you will use them, you have so many ways to use them, and that's what I look for in PvE gacha games, is content that makes me want to use the operators that I built, or the characters that I built, but also a game that has lots of content but doesn't force it down my throat. Like, I don't have to do integrated strategies, I don't have to do the expert mode stages or expert mode versions of stages, I don't have to do annihilation. Although I will say, I think, doing the base annihilation for the weekly Arundums is probably not mandatory, but heavily incentivized. But like the extra annihilation stages, you don't have to do them. They're there for the rewards if you want them. But if you're like, nah, it's too long for me, I don't want to deal with all that, you don't have to do it. I went so long without doing them, and I'm now just doing it. Like, reclamation algorithm, it's another game mode sitting there. I haven't even touched it yet, but there's plenty of rewards waiting for me when I decide to do it. I will be doing it because there's that Hoshiguma skin coming coming, but like you get the idea, right? And I think that's great. I think that's so awesome. I love that about this game. Is there's so much I've yet to do, but I'm not missing out because of it, or I'm not missing out in such a drastic way where I'm like my gameplay experience is ruined because of it, you know? Anyways, I think I kind of got my point across. This is a tower defense game that rivals the other games that I consider titans in this genre, like Bloons Tower Defense 6, the Kingdom Rush franchise. Like, this is a goat, I guess, of the tower defense genre, for sure, without a doubt. And I suppose in the same vein of the gameplay, you have the characters. What is gameplay without the characters, the operators? You know, like, you can't have a tower defense without your towers. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. The characters in this game are some of, if not the best I have seen in a gacha game. There is so many of them. There's such a good variety of design. I made a tier list ranking operators pretty much based off design alone for the most part. And I don't even think I put anyone in hate outside of Stainless, because screw that guy. But even Stainless, like, as much as I hate the bastard, even his design's not shit. Like, you know what I mean? I think they pretty much hit it out of the park. I can't really think of a single character that I genuinely dislike and I look at them like, wow, your design is like terrible. There's some I probably don't like, but for the most part, I don't think I've ever been like, this is horrendous, this is ugly, I hate this so much, you know? And that's not even talking about their gameplay, their skills, the classes, the tower aspect of the towers. You know, I previously talked about characters like Thorns and Blue Poison being pillars of my account, and now that I've, you know, built up my roster more, Blue Poison's kind of taken a back seat, but I won't forget the impact she's had, right? And Thorns, I still use him all the time. He's still pretty much a staple in my squad, and I think he'll still continue to be a staple in my squad. I love his gameplay. I love damage over time. That's why I pulled Ascalon. I love, you know, those type of characters. You got characters like Typhon, which you just throw down and she obliterates everything. You have characters like Surtur, which, you know, lives up to her name of being a boss killer. You slam her down, she does the thing she needs to do, and there you go. Like, it's hard for me to say more than I've already said, especially in my previous video, just because I really did cover a lot about the characters. I've also made other videos on characters and talk about them in other ways, because I really think the characters of Arknights is one of the best aspects of this game. It's so, like, this game would not have done as well as it has if it wasn't for the characters, and I genuinely think that. Like, obviously the game is great in and of itself, but the characters are such a big part of that, that I think Arknights would not be the game it is without them. Holy crap, I am glazing the shit out of this game right now. I am doing tricks on it. Like, my God. And now we make our way to story. If you have seen my previous video, then you kind of know how I feel about the story. My thoughts are basically the same. I don't think much has really changed, seeing as I haven't read anything since I stopped reading. I just kind of went cold turkey and stopped, like I explained previously. But I will say, now that I've pretty much caught up with the game, I still have maybe a chapter or two left to do in the story, and I've done most of the events, I've done a lot of the levels and stuff. I've been considering trying to get back into the story, to read it, delve back into it, to actually give it another shot, because I've heard a lot of great things about some of the recent stuff. I heard the Babel event was really interesting. There's a lot of cool lore. We got the new chapter coming soon, I believe, which a lot of people are hyped for and excited for, and just things that I've heard about it, little bits and pieces of story with not a lot of context. It just sounds very interesting and intriguing. So I've been considering actually trying to find a way to get back into it, but that, you know, will be a Herculean task on its own that I'll have to figure out. But who knows, maybe you'll see videos of me glazing the story after I've started reading it again. Who knows? I don't know. That could happen. But overall, my thoughts about the story are pretty much the same. For now, I do think it's still pretty dialogue bloated. They really do take a while to get to the point. I mean, one of people's main argument against having voice acting is that there's so much dialogue in the game. Kind of is telling about how long and drawn out the story can be at times, or pretty much most of the time. Now, music is something I didn't really talk about in my original video. I kind of just brushed it to the side. To be fair, I did end up making 2 videos after specifically about the music. So I won't go too in depth with this video either, because I've literally made 2 videos sharing a ton of songs that I love from the game. I think Arknights music is fantastic. I love it so much. There are a lot of great themes in game, out of game. I love it. I love it. I love it. There's a reason why people make jokes about Arknights being a game attached to a music company, you know, all those jokes and memes and shit. Once again, I won't go too in depth about it, but just know I really and truly do love the music of this game. And finally, we come back to probably my more divisive topic that I talked about in my original video, which was the gacha system. And I actually want to go a bit more in depth here because I think I made it seem like I really hated or disliked the gacha system when in reality, I actually don't. I think the new normal single rate up banners and limited banners are great. I think they're awesome. I love them, whatever. Obviously, their pity numbers could go down. I don't think anyone would be against that. But overall, like, they're good. There's no complaints there. My issue has and will always be with banners like the Colonel banner or the multi-character rate-up banners. Anything that has multiple characters that are boosted rates that you are not guaranteed of getting. Those banners I have never been a fan of. It doesn't matter what gacha game it is. I am a full supporter of there being a way to get the character you want on the banner that you are pulling on. I feel like you should not pull on a banner without some sort of guarantee of getting the character you want at some point. And like I said, I mentioned there are banners that have that. That's awesome. That is fantastic. But it is truly unfortunate, especially when I was a newer player, when you would see these multi-rate up banners and you see characters you want, or at least a character you want, and you're like, oh damn, I really want them. Like, for example, I'll just make an example banner. You see a Thorns and a Lyn rate up banner. I think that was a banner we had not that long ago. And you want Lyn, or I guess in this case, I would want Lyn, right? Because I don't have her yet. I really love her. I want her. Anyways, if they're both boosted, but Thorns is the only one in the shop, that is incredibly disappointing to see, because then it's like, okay, well, I have these yellow certificates that I can't use. I could technically buy the tickets in the shop, but that doesn't guarantee me getting Lyn. I could keep pulling for it, but I'm not guaranteed to get her. Yes, it's a 50-50, but in my past luck, I've lost a lot of 50-50s. I don't win my coin flips pretty often, to be honest. So the chance of that happening early without spending a bunch of pulls is pretty slim for me. It can happen, sure. Like this game has higher rates than other gachas for sure. Your rates of getting the 6 stars are great, incredible. It's like you'll typically get one at worst around 50-ish pulls, 60 pulls, right? I got no problem with that. It is literally just there are certain banners where I want certain characters, but I do not have a guaranteed means of getting them, and that is just an unfortunate state of things. I still wish, I don't think they'll ever do it, but on multi-rate up banners, just have the units be purchased, both of them, be purchasable in the shop. Both of them. Even if you want to make one maybe more expensive than the other one because they're maybe newer or something, that's totally fine. Just make them both purchasable so there is a guaranteed way to eventually get them. You know what I mean? That's just my take on it. And actually, now that I think about it, there's also the those banners, I forgot what they're called, but they can have like 4 rate ups. I think we just had one recently where it's like you can the 6 stars you get are only the 4 6 stars from there. And I think people only typically recommend you pulling on them if you have none of the characters or you're missing like 3 of them, because at that point it just becomes not worth it. But even there, it's like you have a 25% chance every time you get a 6 star to get the character. Who's to say you just don't, lose? You technically have a 75% chance to not get them. Like you're rolling the dice like crazy. Anyways, I could be rambling now. Basically, main point, every banner in the game should have a guarantee at some point, like normal banners, like limited banners. I really appreciate the spark system of the limited banner. I love that you can choose any of the limited banners, not just the new ones, but other ones that are on the banner. I love that. I think that's awesome, and more multi-banners should do that. I don't know. Once again, do not hate the Arknights gacha. I actually like it. I love the rates. I love most of the banners. My issue is always and will be with the Colonel and multi-rate up banner. Also, I don't want to see no comments telling me, oh, the Colonel banner isn't worth pulling on. I know, okay? I even said in my first video, I fully knew the Colonel banner wasn't worth pulling on, okay? I don't care. I wanted Hoshiguma. All right. This argument has and always will be about getting the characters you want, not the characters that are fantastic and great and meta. No. It's about the characters you want and being able to get them. Okay, I'm done now, I swear. Anyways, this video might have seemed a little redundant because I did touch on a lot of points I've already spoken about in my first video. I just wanted to speak on it again, share some updated thoughts thoughts, you know, maybe touch on things that I didn't cover before, clarify things, you know. So I'm calling this my final thoughts because once again, I really don't see these thoughts changing, except for maybe the story, my thoughts on the story if I decide to read it, get back into it. But those will be their own videos anyway, probably, if I do. So, you know, just lay it all out right here. And yeah, that's pretty much how I feel about Arknights. Those are my final thoughts, and I will just, you know, continue to love and play this game and make content for this game that I hope people can enjoy. I hope you guys enjoy it. Let me know if you enjoyed this style of video. I kind of started making videos, you know, just yapping into the mic, and then I, you know, transitioned into more some other stuff. But I want to do more videos about like this, where I talk, where I share my thoughts, my opinions. I love doing that. So if there's things you want to hear me talk about, feel free to let me know in the comments below. Totally down to take some people's ideas and maybe shoot the shit, chat about them. I love discourse. I love talking. I love sharing thoughts with people. I love reading your comments. So yeah, feel free to let me know what I should talk about if you want to see me yap some more. Anyways, I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace out.